Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda here of Reich, Tsar of Smoke, or Theater 1 vs 1 on Langadaskai. Between the south, we got here Deimos. I was about to say Arnolaz, but I didn't. Deimos, fighting here for King and Country, the Commonwealth, the 52nd Infantry Division, tasked with holding the line. As the rest of 30th Corps prepares for an all-out assault. We've got here Commando, Special Weapons, and Vanguard for Deimos with Infantry, Machine Gun, and Universal Care Bulletins. Versus the north, we got Arnolaz, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the 15th Panzergrenadier Division, tasked with breaking through no matter the cost. Armoured support has been promised to Arnolaz, of the Arnos. As it turns out, the Arno civilization never quite got the hang of the whole T thing, which would ironically be its very doom. Anyways, we got mobilized defense, elite troops, and storm doctrine here for Arnolaz, mixed there with bulletins for infantry, packs, and Panzerfaust. Noting two of those are for production speed. The last one, of course, obviously is for range. Double grenadier squad there for Arnolaz as the men of the 15th move ahead. Section moving up there, the 15th Panzer shown that by this has been stationed in Italy, but had been moved towards Western Europe in preparation for Operation Herbstnebel, or autumn fog. So we've got double section Vickers there for Deimos. Initially pushing up here, in this case, obviously seen off by the Grenadiers. Arnolaz putting out aggressively. He's going also for a very early mortar there. You usually don't see mortars that early out, but so I'm curious as to what Arnolaz is thinking with that one specifically. About Samex going down, we can see here that Deimos setting up preparation. He's also splitting out aggressively. He's trying to get the fuel as soon as possible. Neglecting the calf point, letting sort of a follow-up unit actually capture that one. That's actually a very sort of interesting method of capturing, just so someone had to sort of draw the vital point faster and then sort of leave, the second wave essentially just to grab the point in there. So very interesting move there by Deimos. Very interesting move. You'd rarely see that kind of sort of capping there, but it's certainly, I think, a higher order capping. Not necessarily something I would recommend, to earlier players. You just need to sort of get the basics there, but for more experienced players, it's certainly an interesting thing to consider. Fuel pond there secured. Vickers setting up there. So we can see Deimos having sort of the area here covered with the Vickers machine gun, and then push up the west side here. He could be planning to move up through here and then sort of get this point and then hit on the golf point, attacking there, getting behind Arnolaz's lines. Third gun squad there for Arnolaz again. Very infantry build. To an extent, also, I suppose, offensive scene is using a mortar, of course, an MD-40 can also be used offensively, but not quite the same way. And there we can see Deimos actually fitting over to a more offensive footing as well. He's setting up his Vickers as well. So Deimos is preparing for a big assault. He's setting up units here, there, and then he's sort of getting ready for it. There he goes. Section moving up, a strength of Grenadiers. Arnolaz, to an extent, expecting something to happen here. Obviously, it is the centre, and most players will head towards the centre here. What he does probably not expect is hit of the calf point there as well. So there goes section moving up there because there's supporting suppressing the Grenadiers. There we go. Nice extra assault here so far by Deimos. Section under fire from the mortar though. Was he expecting an early mortar? Who knows? Generally though, Wehrmacht players will not go for mortars that early, so it's certainly a good question there to how Deimos was feeling about that early mortar opening up. But there you go. Following up here in the initial push. Points have been cut off. Initial stage of the attack going off there. Now following up, hooking up behind the hitting whatever supporting soldiers coming off the retreat path for Arnolaz's infantry. And there you go. Good likelihood there of getting a wipe. That would be certainly a huge... Oh, talk about luck there. In this case though, I think quite loses the start of the game here, which is, to just further push on, completely rout Arnolaz. As I said, he's actually allowing Arnolaz to slightly rout here. Repositioning mortar here, perhaps in time there. The only thing Deimos I think could have done this better was actually been researching grenades at the same time for a bit more explosive power, though he does actually require an upgrade. Okay, never knew that. There you go, UNESCO fighting up with the Vickers kit. Machine gun on top there, quick engaging here, and there go further and increase the harness. Overall, very good early assault there by Deimos. That was clearly an assault with several stages and good planning there by Deimos. I think it was only because of partly just lost slight sight of there what he wanted to do, partly because they were close to getting those Grenadiers right, and had he done that, that would have been really great for Arnolaz, or Deimos, so I guess didn't quite work out there, but still overall very good. Again, disrupting resources, cutting off, and almost wiping at least one unit. Couldn't have been done more had he just focused that one down, so pretty good there by Deimos. Pretty good. 2 thumbs up from the Propaganda Ministry. That is a good attack there. And certainly something, for players to sort of try and learn from. Again, had flanking elements, but of course, all parts of a good flank also involves something from the front to keep the opponent's attention drawn away. In that regard, good flank is kind of like a magician's trick. You got something to draw the attention, and you sort of hit them from the other side and snatch what you want. And again, that might not be a magician, more, common street hustler, but enough about that. Grenadiers push down the west side here again. Arnolaz does a lot of interest once he's got the front line stabilised until you use the infantry to push up and so points against Deimos. Grenadiers doing what they can, and certainly with a 4 Grenadier build, it could indicate he's possibly planning here to 3 rush versus Deimos, very interestingly enough. And we got here mobile offense, certainly also giving a hint there to tier 3 rush. Again, basically having the Puma as sort of a cover in case it gets hit by, you know, vehicles or something like that faster than Arnolaz is ready to deal with. So, I'm certainly seeing, you know, a lot of the signs here of a tier 3 rush from Arnolaz. Again, heavy grenadiers, doctrine that can sort of cover up anti-tank, you know, in case, you know, things get dicey. Though, of course, at the same time, there's some slight flaws in this. Not flaws, but certainly problems. Because, again, the way he's sort of being attacked by Deimos, again, as a British player, you're not usually used to these kind of assault tactics. Usually, if they've got to attack, it's just be your head-on brute force. But Deimos, again, actually displays some good maneuver ability and sort of flanking. And that makes him a lot more dangerous. And certainly also a bit tricky to pull off this kind of strategy here for Arnolaz. And there you go again, he's just heading over here, going for the victory point first. Of course, should fall back here. So again, very good attack there, very good push and good sort of presence of the map. He does get too overly focused in the center, which tends to be, you know, a very common pitfall for a lot of players, Axis and allies. Vickers setting up their ponies and suddenly getting shredded there by the Vickers machine gun. World War I era stuff there, water cooled and everything. Of course, also quite solid and could keep on firing for quite a bit of time there. So in that regard, very rugged machine gun, but certainly heavy and not frightfully advanced. Also, fun fact, the British would actually fire their machine guns in barrages as well at enemy infantry. So he's cut the fuel pond off. He's not going to try and hold again. This is just basically a blocking position to at most just disrupt Arnolaz's fuel flow. And there he goes, filling up with an armoured car to just further pressures again. Very aggressive strategy here from Deimos, which would certainly make you think he's either going to go for Commando Regiment or Vanguard to really synergize with such an aggressive build, because those two would sort of really further just assist it, I think, to a large degree. I mean, he can also go for this one, certainly more in case things go slightly badly, but he's got the armoured car out, so I feel like here Deimos is feeling very emboldened by his initial successes versus Arnolaz, and that certainly makes Commando or Vanguard a lot more likely. Then again, if he's going to sort of defensive, in some ways special weapons would actually be pretty good. In which case, half-check to help out, plus hold the line. Then again, a sort of good middle ground could be Vanguard here for Deimos, but Commando isn't bad either, it's just, you know, rarely seen. Still, very interesting play here. Nick is being reinforced, he should be reinforced. Pioneer's being pushed back here by Lee Enfield rifles. Convincing when the cannon being surrounded. There we go, we got the AC Mark III moving up. Pioneers being down the west, and section taking man loss there from German mortar fire. In this case, we can see Arnolaz has not gone for the tier 3 rush due to the way Deimos have been playing again. The sheer pressure from Deimos has forced Arnolaz, I think, to discard the tier 3 rush plan and instead just go for tier 2 to bring up Pack 40s and possibly other supporting elements. So, in that regard, we can sort of see, you know, one of the ways of just countering the tier 3 rush is you're sort of able to just quickly and sharply sort of divide and outmaneuver your opponent. So really good play there by Deimos. I mean, normally a tier 3 rush player is able to reasonably well put it off, but just Deimos' play here is completely catching Arnolaz in a bad position, and that's really good there for Deimos, really good. And again, I think some really good play there by him. But we got the Pack 40 up here. I'm going to expect a Puma here from Arnolaz just to further count again, but again, he's just under such sheer pressure, he's not even going to try and wait for it again. He's just going fast ahead there instead of trying to take up and use the Puma sort of as a buffer there, because again, the pressure from Deimos is just too much currently. Something got destroyed though, looks like a trench attempted maybe, or something else. Oh, wait, kaput. Sappers with more on the way for Deimos. Section pushed back to remind the losses. Grenadiers swinging with inside there, but the armoured car is putting too much pressure on them. My God, Otto. The walls, they're collapsing. Yeah, but what are you expecting from Belgian workmanship? Completely shoddy. I mean, look at those beams. What is they made from? Pine? Anyways, armoured car there blasting at the Grenadiers. Armoured coming up. Oh, University taking it from the Pack 40. They punch up their cannon field, almost knocking it out there. And second shot, though, fails to connect. Up here, though, fighting around the car point. Pressure, rifle grenades, mortar fire. And there you go, full section wipe on Deimos. Full section wipe. They're about to get wiped out. They need to get the devil out of there very, very schnell. Troops are reinforcing, almost done taking up there. Although, not taking up. What the hell am I talking about? Almost close to the Puma for Arnolaz. And again, I'm getting a distinct Puma feeling there from it. And this is the other sort of situation where a lot of Wehrmacht players will go for the Puma because, again, it just gives them some kind of ability and a way to sort of counter-push against armoured cars and reverse cares, and that way getting more freedom of movement for us. And there you go. He's gone for Vanguard. He's using raid operations that way to secure territory fast. In this case, allow him to grab both viewpoints, quickly hook them up as well. Great ability, but very undervalued, I think, by a lot of British players alongside, you know, Vanguard and I suppose Commandos. The Commandos, I think, is even more undervalued, but Vanguard, really strong doctrine. But again, just not there utilised. There you go, raid operation just showed its strength in again, allowing Deimos to just control the map a lot there. Unless moments away from the Puma there, the 234-2, and there we go. It's Puma time. Again, no surprises there for Arnolaz. I mean, he was essentially laying up for it all the time. The difference is just, again, the way it happened. It was just not the way Arnolaz expected him to use it. Because again, the sheer pressure Deimos has been exerting on him. Again, absolutely astounding pressure play there by Deimos. And there you go, Puma was out there, countering the AC, shoots with his 50mm gun, penetrating there. AC shoots back, misses. Holding some force around the centre section, almost wiped out. Coming pushing force with light machine guns and whatnot. Puma there, almost getting the section there, but not quite. Finding around the victory point there. I think Deimos in this case just trying to buy as much time, trying to just increase the victory point lead he gets over Arnolaz. So not a bad idea there. Tactically, troops moving up here, so even as he's losing ground here in the east, he's trying to make gains to the west. We've also got a lot of mines going down here, so just further preparation over Deimos. Deimos very much in the ball there versus Arnolaz, just relentless. And able to just keep up the tempo, keep up the pressure. Very good play there from Deimos, very good. Arnolaz is doing his best here versus Deimos. He is certainly struggling.
6-pounder anti-tank gun finished.
6-pounder gun to help deal with the Puma. Certainly more solid counter. I mean, the AC can do it, but it's a bit more risky, whereas the 6-pounder gun is a very, very safe counter to it. Just being suppressed here by the Vickers. They tried to flank out. Nice attempt there by Arnolaz, but in this case, not quite having enough resources, I think, to pull through. Still, overall enveloping attack there from Arnolaz completely collapses the forces here for the most part, except a single lone sapper squad trying to buy time for the rest of the men. Don't worry, lads. Oh, looks. I've got this. I've got this for now. A lot of mines there from Deimos. A lot of mines. Gute Arbeit. Arnolaz certainly got himself quite a hill to climb up from. Puma shoots almost setting off the mine there, actually. Trying to hit the section there, but not having much luck there. 6-pounder gun shoots back. Need to pull back the Puma. And we got a sniper here for Arnolaz that way to try and bleed out the British infantry. Maybe also deal with some of the support weapons. Not a bad choice there by Arnolaz. Not a bad choice at all. Also finding to work, they're repairing the armoured vehicle pool here for him. Fixing up things there. Then just bring up the western side. Armoured coming down the armoured narrow roads of Langarskaya. Sniper almost done there for Arnolaz. Point there secured. The 234-2 or Puma was basically the second variant out of the 234, which was sort of just an 8-wheeled armoured car, second series essentially after the first one, the 234-2, which was sort of based on an actual civilian car design, but sort of the first sort of big heavy armoured car in this sort of serious production run, but obviously phased out in favour of this one there chassis there. The Puma itself saw a limited run due to the fact that high command was where they just used it like a tank and so switched away from 50mm guns to a bit more mixed arsenal for the armoured cars. There you go, a bit of movement here again. Still keeping up pressure on the right flank. Very good. Again, a lot of players seem to forget that right flank on Langarskaya, but Deimos is not one of them. Again, Deimos here clearly showing himself to be a very tactically sound player here versus Arnolaz. So of course, Arnolaz is no slouch either. Almost got the Langarskaya there, and we've also got a mortar implosion going out for Deimos. The ever nasty South Langarskaya mortar pit. Also not remember this, the South Langras mortar pit in Companies 1, and that one was really nasty. Like, if they got that up with the Ford headquarters, you were usually in a lot of trouble. So this one certainly brings back some not very pleasant memories Quite the opposite. Oh, section right there by the mortar fire as well. Mortar's only having an impact there for Arnolaz. It's only proving helpful. They're also getting those wipes, and Deimos is helping out a lot because Deimos, it's not replacing his infantry sections. That does get a bit away. I mean, he's still got sappers, which are pretty good combat infantry to an extent, but they're not sections on in some ways. So that's certainly something there that Deimos needs to be careful of and mindful about. I mean, if he has no infantry to work with his armoured vehicles, he can quickly find himself in a bad situation because Arnolaz, though, despite everything, has not lost a single grenadier squad yet. So that rather means Arnolaz has the potential of sort of breaking through if he just keep up this rate of attrition versus Deimos. Mortar taking a lot of damage. Could move up the Pack 40 Puma shoot through here. Besides mortaring it. Converse coming up. Need to be careful with the sniper. And is he taking up? There he has. So we could actually go for Cromwell here. Centaur. We could actually try and, further tech and go for, say, Comet or Churchill here. He's feeling bold enough, but he's certainly more on the defensive now. Again, Arnolaz now with the infantry advantage. He's using it to that way sort of push against, and also now with nothing to cover the mortar replacement. It's forced into brace, of course, limiting his firepower, but all it just means he can just keep firing safely at it because there's no way Deimos can easily break through here. The gut vehicle crew repairs to try and fix up his stuff there. And in this case, he's largely doing it just for the universal carrier. He's basically spending 100 munitions instead of 15 to repair the universal carrier. I'm guessing there Deimos forgot he had the self-repair ability, because that's definitely some pretty extravagant spending. Cromwell on the way there for Deimos. Sappers heroically charging forwards across open ground, but there's Pumas and Gunner's light machines. They're threatening to, murder them pretty badly, though. We got the AC moving up to provide support here. Mortar back in action there for Arnolaz. And a second Pack 40 here for him as well. Is he playing then a tier 3 move now, or tier 4 even? I mean, usually not go for a second Pack 40 unless you're really sort of planning either a Tiger Tank or, a tier 4. And you could easily go for tier 3 now, without having to go for a Pack 4, then rush out, say, Scrooge or something instead. Bit harder to say here what Arnolaz is planning versus Deimos. But there you go. Deimos. Almost, there you go, guys. Tank ready. The Cromwell Mark IV cruiser tank. And instead he goes for the command tank. I suppose that's also a way to cover it up. They're going for double pack force that way, providing enough anti-tank, but allowing yourself to go for the command tank, though. At this stage, I think they might be off just taking for some medium. I mean, hell, even taking for a Panther, I think would be a bit more sensible than going for the command tank at this stage for Arnolaz, which that's my personal opinion. Armored car that pushed back. Got a vet tier 2 Pack 40, by the way. That's bad news for Deimos' armour. And of course, the third Panzerwagen is not exactly happy news either. Fixing up the armoured car again. Needs to put more pressure on the flanks. Mine goes off. They're killing a few grenadiers. Good work. Gute Arbeit. Good luck, what chaps. And no further sign of anything taking there for him. We got mines down there. Tell mines to cover up the flanks versus vehicle moves there. Good work by Arnolaz. Push water center there. And armor car didn't move on this. Got lucky they didn't get Panther fausted. Gunners being suppressed out of the Vickers. Now very close to Vets in the thing actually. We see setting up for some kind of assault through here. I think they'll sort of transferring behind. That could work out. I mean, you could catch some of the Pack 40s off guard before. Arnolaz know what's happening. But at the same time, this is sort of where, Commander would be a lot more useful because that one offers a lot more sort of attack abilities, like infantry assault, but also mortar cover. Could be really good for, a big swing assault here. Moving up for here, then calling in, say, mortar cover in the midst of the enemy position. That way, force them to focus not, on the artillery, but also just the attack itself. So I think that could be a pretty good idea. Plus, of course, infantry assault itself could also just be used instead. Just gives infantry an extra boost because it allows them to sprint, but also have more firepower. So, I mean, there's some options there. We'll have to see what it ends up with here for Deimos, though. Also, no Fort Logistics ladder yet. But we can see he's starting to get the idea again. Perhaps we're hearing some sounds of something else that, Deimos sending up for flanks. In that regard, Deimos perhaps been a bit too slow and just giving Arnolaz time to figure out what's going on to prepare. He's also setting up for a machine gun bunker to cover the right side there, by the looks of it. Otherwise, it's a very weird command bunker placement, for that matter, medic bunker placement. So it's safe to assume that's a machine gun bunker, unless Arnolaz has completely lost it. 9, we must have a command bunker over there, so Tommies will never see it coming. Never. And that is why it is brilliant. Got more rapid operation there from, or raid operation, not rapid, but raid operation. Time to again quickly cut off, take territory there. And now we can sort of see he's preparing a big move. He's attacking from a lot of points, moving a lot of points there. In some ways really effective, but also has a chance that just, if it doesn't completely overwhelm his opponent, risks losing units, because again he can just, you know, find his units singled out and murdered like this, for example. The Saps all of a sudden find themselves under a lot of German scrutiny, which means a lot of light machine gun fire. Of course, at the same time he's pushing back here for the center. Cromley's be careful, almost got the... Oh, got the command tank! Almost, he needs to just completely knock it out there, but still he's grabbing a lot. They need to grab the fuel points over the radar base, but he's clearly got too much else going on there, otherwise he could have grabbed that and turned away from Arnolaz. Instead they're shooting at the bunker. Come on lads, it's just a hole of dirt! Then why are we shooting at it? It's a German hole of dirt! We'll shoot those! How? Just shoot them! That's how it works! Again, this time we can repair. This time there's a bit more to repair than just the universal case. Going for the Comet, not Cromwell. Still no attempt there, for example, Comets or Churchill tanks. Hello. Section needs to retreat very fast. I feel like there's a miss they didn't try to go for the fuel point as well, but he's just trying to cut it off. Could lose a section there, which point needs to replace. At least go for some for logistics with the officer. That could also be really helpful for me. You could add some more elite infantry, which is also, you know, something you could have gone for soon. I mean, that would also make that, for example, assault here much more vicious if that's simply, you know, some commanders snugging. In that way, they could really just do a lot of damage very quickly. You know, suddenly appeared, you know, from an unexpected opponent, popped a light cannon bomb or something vital, knocked it out, and just murdered it away. Command chain there being fixed at. Take up there for Arnolaz and the 15th Panzer Division finally happening. Second Cromwell out there for Deimos and the 52nd Infantry. Moving ahead, there we go. Going to use in the fire from the Cromwell. Exposed to ruthless British fire. Good support there, the Cromwell. The Sam's a bit push ahead. So he's actually both the section, but he's barely got anything left to boast. I mean, in that regard, Deimos' infantry losses are getting quite extravagant. And again, that's really, you know, where Arnolaz now sort of beginning to have a real strength, because he's not actually suffered a single wipe, so he's got a lot of veteran infantry, whereas again, Deimos has got considerably less. He's got the armor edge, but without infantry support, the tanks can't get far due to the pack fronts established here by Arnolaz. So it rather gives Deimos some issues. Again, he wasn't able to keep his infantry alive. And that's certainly the hazard of playing such aggressive strategies with infantry as the British. I mean, if you lose a lot of them, very quickly you can sort of find yourself crippled as the British, and that's essentially what happened here to Deimos. He's trying to sort of fill out the ranks with sappers with his deck can't work, but again, there's all these grenadiers and everything else. These sappers might not quite be, you know, the best option, since they start to attempt to get close. So Paul McCropp, they could have tried to push it for the heavy Panzer Corps, but looks like Arnolaz just decided he wants something fast. He wants something schnell, which is certainly also sensible. Schnell also works, though technically by 23 minutes mark, it's not very schnell. Trying to get tier 3. It's Vickers though, is veteran 3, that is something there. Push for the center, there you go, almost lost the Cromwell, and there you go, it goes down. Bad news for Deimos. Again, he's getting too focused on the center there. He should be better off just push up harder on the eastern or west flank, or try to pull a pincer maneuver there instead of just trying to pull his tank up through the center, where by now he should be aware there's a lot of German anti-tank guns pointing in that very general direction. It ends up just being a case of armoured whack-a-mole, except, you know, there's just a lot of big anti-tank guns mounted at the hook, you know, mole hole, and there's only one row really, so it becomes pretty damn obvious. They almost lost the second Cromwell as well. They're getting really ugly for Deimos, getting really ugly. I mean, his force now is getting slowly picked apart here. Again, Not really able to push through there with a sort of decisive advantage. I think he actually went for too many cromwells. Should have tried taking up. They should have preserved his infantry better. A faster bolster section probably done better. And also certainly feeling increasingly better off with the commando, since he's just not using some of the other assault elements if his docks would really pull through for him. Quick strike here with a Puma in the east. We've got a Stug on the way there for Arnolaz. He's taking his opponent's armoured potential very seriously. So he's going for the Stug there. He's got a Puma, 2 packs, and soon a Stug as well. That's going to be bad news for Deimos' armour. And opposite afterwards, the infantry. And that's certainly probably also the reason why Arnolaz is going heavily on the anti-tank element, because it realises once the armour's gone, what little infantry Deimos has left is going to be very exposed with no support. Oh dear. A disrupted airstrike here, rockets flying down, hitting tanks a bit, some other bits. Pack crew wiped here, Grenadiers being suppressed, 9% running here. Very disrupted air attack here by the Royal Air Force against Arnolaz and the 15th Panzer Grenadiers. Can he follow up on this though? Can he follow up this against Deimos? His University by virtually 3, but there you go, takes it from the command tank. Rocket strikes as the command tank, a few hits. And the tank moving up. Where the tank? Well, where is the tank of the armoured come? For that matter, where's any infantry really? He needs just to push forward here. Otherwise, the air support he won't do much, because sure, the enemy will leave it, but if he doesn't take it, it's all been for naught. It's mostly important a few seconds, but no sort of real gains. But he could see wipe here, could see his wipe. Oh, no, retreats in time. Big has by the wipe. Big loss for Deimos by losing a veteran free machine gun crew. Losing a lot of its benefits. Pack 40 the recruit. Oh, need to get the pack tank moving, but no, there's a pack 40 coming in the first pack there. Armoured car moving ahead there. Sappers charging the anti-tank gun. Deimos still woefully short in infantry. And Arnolaz has yet to suffer a wipe, so he can soon launch up a pretty big counter-attack with this Panzer. There you go. Stug rolling ahead to take a few rockets there from the Typhoons. Pack 40 wiped out, but there you go. Armoured car going in for the Cromwell. Tries to flank. Ah, barely hit. What's the mine? Anti-tank and shooting. And then straight into the mine. Armoured car hits it from the Stug. Going for the Puma. Takes a hit there. Don't take a hit. Ah. Both going up more or less at the same time. Puma AC down. Stug is victorious. Deimos, though, is now short a section as well. He's just down to Sappers, Bickers, and a few other things there alongside his Cromwell and his University has actually done surprisingly well. But he's back in map control here versus Arnolaz. But of course, the question is, how long can this hold? I mean, he's barely got anything left now. And again, Arnolaz has got a big infantry force. He's got tanks, he's got Stugs, mortars, snipers, and an anti-tank gun. I mean, now he's just got such overwhelming numbers that the odds for Deimos are looking very slim. Again, his infantry preservation has not done him a lot of favours. Again, too slow, I think, to get up bolstered sections, and again, for that matter, not fast enough for placing them. Now Arnolaz can be a lot more aggressive with his infantry versus Deimos. Osman away here, so he's just not really taking any sort of armoured threat there from Deimos anymore seriously. Now he's going to just focus on hitting what he knows is left, large infantry and anti-tank guns. At which point he feels confident that Osman is going to do the trick quite nicely, and I think that is a very sound assessment by Arnolaz. Both pioneers getting to, I think, that might have misclick here by him. So, Andre supposedly paying set Panzer. Oh, yeah. I don't know why they thought you all had to get into that house. Yeah. Wasn't even any beer. Oh dear, could lose unit here, but no. Gets away with it, gets away. 6-pounder gun lands a good hit to the Stug, which has been upgraded with a machine gun. And could he finally get his first wipe against Arnolaz? Ah, smoke dream from the Stug. Covers up the Grenadier. He's almost losing the Stug though, and oh, they might lose it, might lose it. Bit awkward Stug handling. And it hits a mine, gets knocked out. Oh, bother. Bit of movement in the east. I mean, he's still got a sizable chance on that again. It's just Deimos just there's very little to defend it left with, so he needs to really just choose his engagement very carefully. He needs to sort of aim for maximum damage. He can't really afford just more head-on assaults. I'm surprised they only got 2 folks. They might have been overconfident with Deimos. Again, just not trying to, you know, outman his opponent enough, just thinking just win with brute force in. You think you just win with brute force whereas the opponent's better at preserving his infantry, you're usually going to end up in a bit of an awkward situation. Stealing the Pack 40 there with his sappers. The problem is he's not going to get away with it. It just feels like a waste of sappers. And there you go. Osprey blitzing through the centre. 6-pounder gun ready to counter it. Virtually 2 even used rapid manoeuvres there. Rarely utilized the ability to quickly set it up there. Big steam when it comes taking heavy damage to the command tanks and the flak panzer. Almost got the Osprey there. Could have a small chance of getting that. Be a big loss there though for Arnolaz. And the Osprey goes down. Huge loss there for Arnolaz. Huge. That was just resources down the drain. And while to an extent he can afford it more than Deimos, I mean, it just gives Deimos that much more of a small chance of getting back there. I don't think you should aim for the crocodile. I think that would be a rather suicidal strategy by Deimos, because again, I mean, in theory, Arnolaz could just at that point just take for panthers. Still, Deimos has the victory point lead, so if he can fight smartly, he might still have a chance versus Arnolaz. Though again, he's going to have to pull off some kind of aggressive risk maneuver to sort of aim for a big sweep against Arnolaz, causing a lot of damage, and that way just buying enough time, because long term, at this stage, how things are looking, Deimos is going to lose. I mean, Arnolaz just has too much force, so he has to aim for some kind of risk maneuver that sort of sweeps away, kills a lot of infantry, that way crippling Arnolaz for just long enough time. But otherwise, I mean, he's just going to get ground down, because Arnolaz is forcing our Deimos set up for a lot of light machine guns, the snipers, the mortars, everything. I mean, it's just not in Deimos' favour anymore. I mean, again, all the attacks here has just rather crippled Deimos. Again, such a good flanker in the early game, but long term, struggling with it apparently and just suffered for it badly. I mean, I'd also maybe research grenades. I think you'd also be much better off here versus Arnolaz. Against some of those flanks a lot more devastating, but still combined with infantry assault, could allow him to rush in, grenade something, and move on. But also just lack of any sort of commanders, I think, is a big loss there for Deimos. I mean, they're really, really good and sort of really good flanking units. So for Deimos not to consider those or get them is certainly a bit tragic. But there you go, Cromwell on the way for Deimos. And another stoop for Arnolaz. Again, he's realised there's been enough time his opponent might get some armor, and he's not clearly not confident just relying on his Pack 40s. Sniper, by the way, they've actually feet 27 kills for the fatherland. More telemines. Again, we can see again Deimos is getting up for any kind of armored threat there from Deimos. Any kind of armored threat. You might even be expecting crocodiles for all we know, or comets. So. And again, he's taking this very seriously, otherwise he would not be mining up with telemines at this stage and getting stooks. He was not expecting some kind of serious armored threat though. At this point, Deimos' resourcing, again, all the advantage he's going for is gone, and all he can afford, is a Cromwell tank. So there's no real big, armoured surprise there from him now. Universica, though, is still doing quite well. 17 kills. 17 kills. Actually quite rare to see Universica actually doing so well and actually surviving for so long. That is quite rare. So quite impressive there by Deimos. Another big assault. Now he's sort of trying for that, but again the question is, does he have the resource to really pull through here? Even with air support. That's really sort of the big question. In this case, not enough force. I mean, he's guard that already has scattered, and he doesn't get enough force, I think, against Arnolaz to really pull off anything big. But he's grabbing the centre victory point, going back the west there as well. Arnolaz retreating, Cromwell all the way back here, heavily damaged from encounters with German armour. 19 kills on that universal carrier. 19 kills. You can see Arnolaz just pulling back, that he's just biding his time, I think, versus Deimos here. 6-pounder gun almost good to go as well. And there you go, Arnolaz moving ahead. Stalled up, suppressed. A quick strafe there from a Typhoon. They're going to pull up. He's using radar break to help secure territory. He's going to lose University carrier finally. Pushed it too far, hit it beyond its limits, and he just did not pull through. Not going for the victory point, and then again, there's a machine gun bunker now covering that quite efficiently. Down to a single Cromwell, a bit of scattered infantry and anti-tank, and here versus Arnolaz. Vickers though back to veteran 3, good work for him. Almost got the Grenadiers actually. Could be his first Grenadier wipe, and yes! 34 minutes of the game, he finally gets a Grenadier squad wipe. More sections with Deimos pushing for the centre there. Cromwell moving ahead. Stug good to go. Pack moving up as well. Unit wipe there. Another section lost, and there goes Cromwell's about to get knocked out, but the Stug's the Pack 40's target weak point, and oh, close there. 6-pounder gun sitting up there. Almost got the Vickers machine gun, and mortar fire going down as well. Pack 40 up. Stug not following up here in these sabres with back with the section wall. Machine gun wiped out there again. Command tank almost down. Osprey number 2 almost ready there for Arnolaz as well. And there you go, Flak Panzer number 2 for Arnolaz, and the 15 Panzer going to got the Cromwell rushing ahead here. And the Pack 40 lights it up. And there you go, almost got the 6-pounder gun. And with that, Deimos, I think options are very limited. He's got no really immediate ability to get in the tank. He's lost his machine gun, but he's now in the hands of Arnolaz. And there you go with that. Deimos realizes the fight is over. The 52nd Infantry pulls back. The 15th Panzer Gun Division is victorious. Also, a quick thanks here to Brede for pledging on Patreon to support the Propagandacast. Most appreciated, most appreciated. You, of course, can also support the war effort by pledging on Patreon. Links are in the video description. Anyways, overall interesting fight. There's some good aggressive play there from Deimos. Again, he sort of fell into a lot of the common Lanka square traps. Again, too much focus there. Not keeping up with good flanks on the sides of the map. And I think overall his doctor usage was also weak, and to the extent I feel like he would benefit more from command. It sort of felt more like, would have worked with his flanking, and so the lack of an officer commander squad here also hurt him. Grenades I think would also been great there for Deimos. Arnolaz there, weak to an extent start. He wasn't expecting the kind of play there from Deimos. He did. His tier 3 rush got railed. But, he managed to recover there, preserved his infantry very well, and I think that allowed him to sort of win over Deimos, who was, on the other hand, struggled much with infantry preservation. And that's the thing to keep in mind there. Preserving infantry squads is quite important. In particular, as the British, as they are quite more expensive. That's certainly something there to keep in mind. But overall, I think a pretty interesting fight, certainly highlighting the power of flanking, but also the power of you have to keep it up, or you lose that power to an extent there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe, tell friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay of your own practice feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another signing episode. Bye.